In this video, I'll talk about the welcome page. After starting PubCoder, the welcome page will open. From this window, you can decide how to start your new project. You can create a new project from scratch, start with an InDesign project, or a selection of images that will allow you to create a photo album. From the top buttons, you can switch to the Recent tab, where a list of all projects already formatted in PubCoder will appear. Or you can go to the list of example files available to test and see how the software works. On the left-hand side of the window, you can access your license data, the documentation of PubCoder, find out what's new, a link to the users forum, and another link to the PubReader download page. Now, you may create a new project by double-clicking on the New Project button. You will be led to a new window where you have to define the main settings of your project, such as title, author, page size, and layout. PubCoder, in fact, works on fixed layout format files, which means that the page size is fixed and the device will adapt to the page size defined here. PubCoder provides preset layouts for the most used devices on the market. Once you have chosen the format and created your project, you can add further formats later. It's time to choose the orientation. The options are horizontal or vertical mode. After that, you need to set the localization, which defines the default language of your project. Now you're ready to start laying out your project. Click on the Continue button and the window of your project will open up. You can also go back to the previous window, click on File to open the Welcome window. The project window is divided into 5 different areas. The area at the top is the top toolbar. From the top toolbar, you may export your project, insert assets into the project, preview it, access export settings, add CSS or JavaScript and HTML code, add synchronized reading within the page, visit the shelf page, zoom in the workspace or access project formats, add a new format, add a new localization, or select the orientation. The area at the center is the working space. At the bottom, you see the list of pages. From here, you can jump from one page to another, add a new page, delete pages, or change page order. On the left-hand side of the project window, you see 3 different panels. The first is the Objects panel, where you see all the objects that can be inserted within your working space. The second is the Assets panel, where all assets included in your project are listed, such as audio files, videos, images, etc. The third is the Layers panel, where you see the list of objects are inserted on the current page. On the right-hand side of your project window, you have 4 different panels. The first is the Project panel, where you may find all the properties regarding your project, such as title, the publisher, the text color, etc. Then we have the Page panel, where you get the properties of your current page. The Selection panel concerns all the properties of the object selected. Obviously, the properties change according to the object we have selected. For instance, if you select an image or a text, the properties of the object change. Lastly, we have the Interactivity panel, which concerns all the interactivity elements that you can add to any of the objects present on the page. In this video, I'll tell you about the image object. The image object is one of the most useful objects in PubCoder. The supported formats are PNG, JPEG, GIF, TIFF, bitmap, and PSD. Obviously, the Photoshop format will not include layers, as it is rasterized once inserted in the app. How can you insert an image? Drag the image object onto the stage. Double-click on the object. This will open a menu that will allow you to choose how to insert the image. Import it either from the Assets library or from your computer or from the internet. If you choose to import it from the assets library, click on its icon and you will be prompted in the list of assets already imported into the project. At this point, choose your image, click OK, and it will be imported into the stage. If you want to insert an image from your computer, again, drag the image object on the stage, double-click on it, and the local folders will be prompted. Choose the image you want to insert, click Open, and it will be imported on the stage. If you choose to import an image from the internet, this is the way to do it. As before, drag the image object onto the stage, double-click and select Import from Internet. Once you click on its icon, a window with a search engine will pop up with two tabs. The default selected tab is Photos. This means that the search engine will look for an image within a web archive with thousands of images called Unsplash. Simply insert your keyword for an image you are looking for in the search engine, for example, paint, and the search engine will return all images based on that keyword. If you're interested in searching an icon instead of an image, select the Icon tab, and a search will be executed among thousands of icons available on a web archive called the Noun project. In this example, I'm looking for a smartphone icon. Just enter the keyword and all results concerning smartphones will be presented. Click on Import Image, select Done, and you will find the image automatically inserted on the stage. What you actually insert onto the stage is a mask of the image object. As such, inside the image object, you can cover the entire object with the image by selecting Fill to Object. You can position the image to fit the object with Fit the Object, or you can position the image at the center of the object itself. This latter is similar to the Fill Object option, the difference being that while with Fill Object the image tends to enlarge, in this case the image will adapt to the object but keeping the same size. Obviously, our image have other important properties. You can change width, height, rotation, you can hide it, set an opacity, set effects, set a background color, etc. If you're not satisfied with the default mask options, just double-click on the image and make a manual cutout yourself as desired. In this case, a manual crop window will open. Through the resize bar, you may zoom the image in and out. Through the rotate bar, you can rotate it. By dragging the image, you can also move it around inside the mask. One last thing. For any format file supported by PubCoder, such as videos, audios, SVGs, images, and even plain text code, you can select an app editor of your choice with which to open these file types directly from the stage and/or from the Assets panel. Go to Preferences, External Editors. In my case, I have selected Photoshop for Image Editor. If you're working on a project and you realize you need to make a small change to the image, you can double-click on the image itself to open the Image menu. Click on Open in Favorite Editor. As you can see in my case, the image will be opened by Photoshop. What happens if at this point I, for example, want to change green background color of the image? I select the green area, then I choose a different green color, I click OK, and before saving, I merge the two levels. By holding Command Shift on a Mac and selecting the two layers, I merge the levels, and at this point, I save it. Once saved, it will automatically change also inside PubCoder. In fact, the green I set inside Photoshop is also appearing on the image inside PubCoder. The text object defines an area where you can insert text. Simply drag the text object from the Objects panel to the stage, then double-click on the object. You can now copy-paste or type directly your text inside the box. As you can see, when the object has been inserted into the stage, a font is already set, with its default font type, size, and color. In PubCoder, you have the ability to set a text style for the entire project. From the Project panel, go to Text and Colors. From here, you can set the desired font type, the size, the line spacing, the link color, and the visited link color. Once set, all text boxes will inherit these properties. You can also style a single text box. Select the text and go to the selection panel. You can set font type, size, shadow, line padding, character spacing, the number of columns, the spacing between columns, the text alignment, left, right, center, justified, the vertical position at the top, in the middle, or at the bottom of the box, and choose whether the text should be selectable and eventually scrollable. This is really up to you. For example, if you have a box and you decide that this box must contain only a part of text in the display, then it can be set as scrollable. After selecting this option, preview it in order to check out how the user will see in the box and how he or she will be able to scroll and read. Once decided the overall text settings, you may change the style of a word or a portion of the text at any time. In this example, I want to change the style of the selected text. From this top bar, I'm setting a different font. I'm changing the size. I want it to be slightly bigger. The color, I'll set it to bold, italic, and eventually underlined. I can use this button here to remove all styles I've just given to the selected text. From here, I can set the alignment, insert a bullet point list, and choose from the different list types made available by the software. I can add an image within the text box. You can see here a window popping up where I'll type the source of the image, define whether it's a list of images or not. I can set a description and size of the image. I can add a link. Another window will pop up where I'm entering the URL. See and change the selected text wrapped around the link. Set the link list, which is used to set up a link within the project that takes the end user to the page within the project itself. And the target, where I can decide whether the link will open on the project window or in a new one. By pressing the OK button, the selected text will become wrapped around the link, which will be styled as defined in the Project tab for the links. You can insert a table, a line height, view the HTML source code of the text, and a series of other settings you can view from this menu. PubCoder provides a set of default fonts you may use. If you need a different font, you cannot use the ones installed on your computer, but you must insert and explicitly include them inside the project. This is due to the need to embed the correct font for the end user, who not necessarily will have the desired font available on his or her device. Go to the Assets panel, select Font from the pop-up menu. From the plus button at the bottom, you can add the desired font. There are two different ways to add a font. You can import it from your local PC or from the internet. In the first case, you will be prompted with your local fonts directory. In the latter, a window will pop up where you can choose a font among all fonts made available by Google Fonts.